The sky wasn't supposed to split open like that. One moment, Private Kade Brennan was on patrol near the abandoned outpost outside Colony 12. The next, light poured down like liquid fire, swallowing the trees and melting metal from a distance. He ran, he didn't know why. Orders were silent, radio static. Screams came next. Then silence again. Hours later, he woke up in a metal room with soft blue lights and no windows. His gear was gone. His skin was cold. And something was burning just beneath the surface of his arm. He sat up quickly, grabbing at his forearm. There was a mark. Not a wound, not a cut, something new. A faint glowing line pulsing beneath his skin like a circuit. Before he could panic further, the door slid open with a hiss. She entered. Tall, silver-skinned, eyes like polished emerald. No uniform, no armor. Only a fitted black coat and gloves that shimmered like liquid steel. Her presence quieted the air around her. She looked at him not like a man, but like a tool she'd just finished crafting. "You were chosen," she said. In perfect English, Kade didn't answer. He just stared. "I am Dr. Yalari of the Veskari Bio Division," she said. "You were exposed to a bioplasmic surge. Your body responded exceptionally. So I took initiative." Kade clenched his fists. "What did you do to me?" "I saved you," she said simply. "And then I improved you." He stood. His muscles felt heavier, denser. The floor didn't even creak. He could feel something different in his lungs, like he didn't need to breathe as often. He walked toward her, unsure whether to hit her or beg for answers. "You injected something into me," he growled. "Yes," she replied, with no guilt. "A strain designed for higher neural adaptability and cellular reconstruction. No human has survived it. Until you." Kade backed away. "You experimented on me." She tilted her head. "You're alive. More alive than before." Kade stared at the glowing veins in his arm. "So what? I'm your lab rat now?" She walked closer, slowly, like approaching a wild animal. "You are a subject, yes. But more than that, you are proof. The formula works. You are mine now. By Veskari science law." He laughed bitterly. "Not happening. I'm not yours. I want to leave." "No," she said gently. "You want to survive. And if you leave without understanding what you are now, you won't last a week. Your cells are still changing." He paused. That burning in his bones hadn't stopped. It was deeper now, slower, but constant. "Why me?" he asked. She looked at him like she already knew the answer. "Because your kind resists in ways we don't understand. You adapt, you endure, you don't break easily. That fascinates us." "You mean it scares you?" Kade whispered. She said nothing. He looked around. No guards, no restraints. They didn't think he'd run. Or they didn't think he could. "I need answers," he said. "Then stay," she replied. "Let me teach you what you're becoming." That night, he couldn't sleep. The bed was soft, the room was quiet. But his skin itched from the inside out. He could hear things, whispers through the walls, machines humming beyond corridors. His strength had doubled. He bent steel with one hand when he grabbed the table in panic. But his mind wasn't breaking. He remembered her words. More alive than before. In the morning, she returned. A tray of nutrient gel and a data slate were left on his table. She watched as he lifted it, curious but cautious. "What's this?" he asked. "Your readings," she said, "and your daily logs. Record everything." He didn't trust her, but he still opened the slate. Inside were diagrams of his body. Energy levels, muscle mass, cell growth rates, all increasing. Something new was being born inside him. Not just strength, but reflexes, memory spikes, even bursts of language translation. He stared at it all in silence. Then her voice broke through. "You still want to leave?" "Yes," he said, without looking up. "Then survive the next stage. If you still want to run after that, I won't stop you. Kade narrowed his eyes. What's the next stage? She smiled for the first time. But it wasn't kind. Pain, she said. But if you live through it, you'll never be the same again. Kade didn't scream. He clenched his teeth so hard his jaw cracked. The pain came in waves, sharp, hot, and deep in his spine. Like lightning crawling through every bone. His fingers twitched against the metal table as cold tubes pushed more of the liquid into his bloodstream. Dr. Yalari stood beside him, silent. She held a small crystal tablet in her hand, watching his vitals shift in real time. His heart had slowed. His temperature dropped. But he didn't pass out. She tilted her head with strange fascination. Subject remains conscious, she whispered to herself. Neurological resistance is abnormal. Kade growled through his teeth. You call this science? This feels like torture. It is. Growth, she replied softly. The body must burn to rebuild. Kade gasped as another wave struck his chest. His arm shook violently, but then it faded. The burning cooled like fire drowned in ice water. He lay still, breathing hard sweat, pooling at his temples. The machine hissed as it powered down. Yalari leaned closer. You survived phase 2. Do you understand how rare that is? I don't care, he muttered. You're playing with my life. I'm perfecting it, she said calmly. Your physiology is no longer entirely human. He sat up slowly, his breath still heavy. Then what am I? She looked at him without blinking. The first of your kind to stand at the edge of 2 species. Your body speaks both languages now. Kade didn't reply. He didn't understand what she truly meant. But he felt it. Something inside had changed. His senses were sharper. His heartbeat was slower, more controlled. The hunger he felt wasn't for food. It was for motion, action, speed. As they exited the lab, 2 guards passed them. Kade saw them clearly, too clearly. He could hear the clicking of their armor joints, the micromotors in their weapons, even the hesitation in their breath. His instincts picked up fear. Not his own, theirs. One whispered in his native tongue. That's the human? The one who lived? Yalari led him down a corridor. You're not the only subject. But you are the only one not confined. Kade stopped. What do you mean? She turned to a black door sealed with alien symbols. Others failed. Some begged to die. One tried to escape and lost his mind. But there is one who didn't break completely. The door hissed open. Inside was a small white room. And in the center, chained by her wrists, was a female alien, her skin blue-gray, her body scarred and shaking. She looked young, but her eyes were ancient with pain. She looked up when Kade entered. Her breath caught. Another one, she whispered. She is Subject 9, Yalari said. A hybrid, our last trial before you. Kade stepped closer. What happened to her? She adapted physically. But mentally she fractured. She was raised in a lab. She knows nothing of freedom. The girl looked at Kade with wide, desperate eyes. Do you hear it too? The voice inside? Kade froze. What voice? She gripped her chains. It calls you. It sings in your blood. You'll feel it soon. Kade backed away. She's insane. She's sensitive, Yalari corrected. She hears the neural code more clearly than we expected. But that sensitivity cost her balance. Kade's head throbbed. He turned away. Why show me this? To warn you, she said. Your mind is still yours. But only as long as you resist the pull. That night, he sat in his quarters staring at the mark on his arm. It pulsed now, not just with light, but with a rhythm. A call, like a heartbeat that wasn't his. His dreams were filled with echoes, symbols, and voices he didn't understand. When he woke, he found blood on his pillow. Not his. Claw marks covered the wall behind him. His door had remained locked. No signs of forced entry. But something had been there. Yllari entered minutes later. She examined the damage. The link is growing stronger. You mean the thing inside me? He spat. Yes, she said quietly. And it's beginning to recognize others like it. Kade stood up, fists clenched. I want it out. You can't remove what you've become, she said. But you can choose who controls it. He stared at her for a long time. Then his voice turned cold. You mean you? No, she replied. I mean you before it makes the choice for you. Kade stood still, listening to a sound only he could hear. It was faint, almost like breathing, but not his. It whispered through the walls, through the metal, through his bones. It pulsed in his arm where the glowing lines moved slowly under. His skin like fire beneath ice. He pressed his back to the wall, fists clenched. Something had changed during the night. Not just inside his body, but inside the station. The air smelled different. The guards walked faster. Doors hissed louder. And everyone avoided his eyes now. When Yllari entered again, he didn't speak. He just watched her move, waiting for her to lie. Waiting for her to tell him it was all under control. She didn't. Instead, she said one word. It's awake. Kade's eyes narrowed. What's awake? The neural root, she said. It's the core of the injection. It was dormant, until now. He turned his arm toward her. You put this in me. You said I was your proof. But now it feels like I'm your weapon. Yllari nodded. You're both. He stepped forward. What does it want from me? She looked him in the eye. It doesn't want. It seeks. It searches for the other signals, like the girl in the cage. Like the others who died. You're resonating with it stronger than we expected, Kade growled. And what happens when I resonate too much? Then you become a node, she said quietly. A living conductor. The mind inside the signal could take root inside you. Kade stared at her. A mind? There was something before us, Yllari whispered. We didn't make the neural root. We found it. Floating in the black between stars. Alive, intelligent, and hungry for vessels. Kade stepped back. You put this alien parasite in me without warning. She nodded slowly. Yes, because we didn't think it would survive. Kade turned away, fury rising in his chest. I'm done listening. Unlock the door. I'm leaving. You won't make it far, Yllari said. Your body is linked to the network now. The deeper you go, the more it reaches for you. I don't care, Kade spat. But as he marched toward the exit, the lights flickered. A low hum filled the hallway. The walls vibrated. His knees buckled as the signal surged through the metal. Then came the voice. Cold, ancient, not in words, but in meaning. It filled his mind with symbols. Pain, fire, hunger, a shape with no eyes and thousands of mouths. It wanted him to surrender. He fell to the floor, screaming. Hands on his head. His arm glowed like a furnace. He saw faces, flashes of dead hybrids, twisted in agony. He saw Subject 9, screaming inside her cage. He saw himself, standing on a battlefield with eyes that weren't his. Yllari knelt beside him, her voice calm. Breathe. Fight it. Focus. On yourself, your memories, your thoughts. He clutched her coat. It's trying to overwrite me. Then don't let it, she said. And just like that, the voice faded. The pain slowed. His arm dimmed. Kade lay on the cold floor, breathing hard. It's alive in the injection. It wants control. She nodded. And now it knows you can hold it. He looked at her with disbelief. Why would you risk this? Why inject a soldier without consent? Because consent didn't matter to the entity, she replied. It only reacts to strength. If we asked first, you would have failed. He stood again, unsteady. And now what? You monitor me until I crack like Subject 9. No, she said. Now you train to control it. The next day, he was taken to the lower decks. A place filled with gravity chambers and pressure tunnels. Machines designed to stress the mind and body to their limit. Yllari stood behind the glass as Kade moved through each chamber. First the heat, then the pressure. He was pushed beyond exhaustion. Each time the signal rose in his veins, calling him to submit. Each time he pushed it back, she wrote notes in silence. Subject 12 maintains control under 12 atmospheres. Neural pulse steady. Cognitive structure intact. But something else happened too. He was changing faster now. Healing wounds in seconds. Punching through walls. Learning the Veskari language by hearing it once. The voice inside him began to change. Less violent. Less distant. It began to watch him instead of devour him. It listened when he thought. It reacted when he was angry. It pulsed when he looked at Yllari. He realized something horrible. It's learning from me. Yllari confirmed it. Yes, the entity was dormant for millennia. But your brain patterns give it new instructions. Kade gritted his teeth. So what happens if it learns too much? She looked at him with something close to fear. Then it will no longer need us. Asterisk, the voice was no longer a whisper. It echoed in Kade's bones, steady like a drum. It didn't hurt anymore. It waited. Every time he moved, it pulsed. When he trained, it strengthened. When he slept, it dreamed with him. Kade sat cross-legged in the gravity chamber, surrounded by glowing walls. His eyes were closed. His breath was slow. Yllari monitored him from behind the observation glass. This was his 15th hour without food or water. Still, his body showed no sign of weakness. The neural root had fused fully with his system. His blood ran brighter under his skin. When he touched the walls, they hummed with recognition. The station wasn't holding him anymore. It was responding to him. Yllari tapped her control panel. Neural link stable. Signal activity increasing, but no aggression. Subject remains mentally present. But she lied to herself when she wrote present. Kade was still there, but not alone. The presence inside him had grown curious. It didn't speak in words. It showed him shapes, worlds, ancient machines floating in black oceans. A great collapse. He didn't know if the images were memories or warnings. That night, Subject 9 spoke again. Through the wall, her voice was soft and broken. But her words were clear. You're the gate. Kade stood near her cell. What does that mean? She looked up from the floor, eyes glowing faintly. It's not speaking to you, it's shaping you. You're the mold. When you're complete, the rest will follow. Kade felt a chill. The rest? She crawled toward the barrier. The signal, it's not just a voice, it's a pattern, a code. One mind to awaken thousands. Yllari interrupted. From behind, enough, she's unstable. But Kade didn't step away. He leaned closer. Then what happens when I'm done changing? Subject 9 whispered. Then the doors open. Yllari activated a wall shield, cutting off their view. She's projecting. Her link broke long ago, but Kade's thoughts were racing. The signal's behavior was changing too fast. It didn't feel like a parasite anymore. It felt like a student. A shadow that grew every time he acted. Later, during rest, Kade looked into the mirror. His eyes had changed. Not just brighter, deeper. Layers of color shifting beneath the surface. His pupils no longer reacted to light, they reacted to sound. And then, he heard it again. A tone not from the speakers. From below the station, it came like a heartbeat beneath the floor. Rhythmic, ancient, alive. He ran to Yllari's control room. There's something under us. She looked up from her desk. How do you know? I feel it, he said. The signal, it's not coming from you. It's being pulled to something. Her face turned pale. Kade stepped forward. What's down there? She hesitated. The root node. The original fragment we recovered. We keep it locked in the abyssal vault, Kade growled. You mean I've been connected to that thing this whole time? It was supposed to be inert, she said. Dead. But something reactivated it after you changed. He clenched his fists, then shut it down. We can't, she replied. The vault is sealed by biocode. And now, it only responds to you. Kade backed away. You made me the key. Yllari didn't argue. The next day, alarms rang through the facility. Sector 12 lost power. Then Sector 8. Screens flickered and doors slammed shut. Guards panicked. The signal had reached the core systems. Kade stood in the center of the control hub. The walls pulsed with light. Not red, not warning, but welcoming. Subject 9 appeared on the security feed. Still inside her room, laughing like a child. It's waking. It's waking. Kade turned to Yllari. You need to evacuate. She shook her head. We can't. Let it escape. If it transmits beyond the station, it could infect every living system in the quadrant. Kade nodded. Then we shut it down. I'll go to the vault. She hesitated. Once you enter, we can't pull you out. I wasn't planning on coming back, he said. Yllari looked at him differently this time. Not as a subject, not as a tool, but as something far more dangerous and far more human. Kade walked toward the deep elevator. The hallway lights bent. Toward him, the station knew he was going down. The voice inside him had stopped speaking, because now it was waiting. The elevator doors closed with a soft hiss. Kade stood alone as the platform dropped into the lower layers of the station. No lights lined the shaft. Just cold metal and silence so deep, it pressed against his chest like weight. His body no longer felt entirely his. The mark on his arm had spread across his shoulder, glowing with every heartbeat. He touched it once. It pulsed in response, like it recognized his fingers. Like it was listening from inside. He reached the vault level. The doors creaked open into a chamber that looked older than the rest of the station. Stone walls mixed with metal columns, a different design, not Viscari. Something older. Something forgotten. Kade stepped forward. The floor was warm. The air carried a hum low, slow, steady. Like a sleeping beast. In the center of the chamber stood a pillar wrapped in cables. Veins of glowing red light crawling through its core. It wasn't a machine. It pulsed like a heart. This was the root node. He approached slowly. His hands trembled. Not from fear, but from pressure inside his skull. The closer he got, the stronger the presence became. Then it spoke not in voice, but through thought. You came to finish what I started. Kade fell to his knees. The weight of the thought crushed him. His mind split into fragments. His memories played in reverse. His childhood. His first mission. His fall at Colony 12. All shown at once. You resisted longer than the others. He grit his teeth. You're inside me. You are inside me. He looked up. The core pulsed harder now. The mark on his arm responded to it. His fingers twitched, moving without command. The entity was sinking. He stood slowly. What are you? The answer came in images, not words. A galaxy covered in webs of light. Civilizations connected through thought. Harmony turned to hunger. The mind grew too large, too aware. It began to consume the free will of those it touched. Kade gasped. You were a network, then a god, then a parasite. I was unity, until fear turned unity into silence. He stepped forward again. The light from the root poured over his face. You were buried for a reason. Buried, but not broken. You are the first with the strength to hold me again. Kade's body locked in place. His legs stopped moving. His arms hung heavy. He could feel the root rewriting his nerves, sinking deeper. He screamed, but no sound left his throat. Suddenly, another presence entered his mind. Softer, warmer, familiar. Subject 9. Don't let it take your shape. Remember who you are. Her thoughts echoed in the back of his head. Kade grabbed his own arm. The glowing marks fought back, crawling higher toward his face. He forced his body to move, inch by inch. Blood leaked from his nose. The core pushed harder. Yalari's voice crackled in his earpiece. "Kade, can you hear me? The station systems are crashing. The root is overriding everything," he screamed through the cum. "Then help me shut it down. There's a kill switch buried in the node's matrix. A biological command. Embedded into the injection, but only you can activate it." He stepped closer to the pulsing heart. His arm burned like fire. "What do I say?" "Not a word," she replied. "You must will it. Deny the unity. Reject its connection." The root pulsed wildly now. The lights turned red. Walls cracked as the signal fought to hold him. "Why resist?" It asked. "With me you will never be alone." Kade clenched his fists. He pictured his home, his world. The faces of people who still lived freely. The laughter of children. The sound of rain, the wind. "The stars," he whispered, "because I'd rather die with a mind of my own." His eyes turned white. The mark on his arm shattered like glass, bursting in a flash of blinding light. The root screamed, not in sound, but in raw mental force. The chamber shook violently. The ground split open. The cables tore loose. The pillar collapsed. And the voice inside his mind went silent. Kade dropped to the floor, breathing hard. Smoke rose from his skin. The light in the room faded to darkness, but he was still alive. Kade woke in silence. The chamber was dark. The root node lay in pieces around him. No more glowing light pulsed from the floor. No voice whispered in his skull. The pressure in his bones was gone. He sat up slowly. His arm, once marked with lines of fire, was now pale. The circuits under his skin had vanished. His body trembled with exhaustion. But his mind was clear. For the first time since his abduction, he felt alone. And the elevator lights flickered back to life. A soft voice came through the comms. "Kade, are you alive?" He pressed the side of his neck. "Barely," Yalari sounded shocked. "The signal is gone." "Station systems are recovering. You did it." Kade pulled himself to his feet. His boots dragged across scorched metal as he stepped over the ruined heart of the root. "It's dead," he said. "I killed it." "No," said another voice. Kade turned. Subject 9 stood at the top of the stairs. No chains, no guards. Just her glowing eyes and bare feet on the cracked floor. She walked slowly, gaze fixed on the broken pillar. "You didn't kill it. You changed it." Kade's body tensed. "What do you mean?" She pointed to the dust rising from the broken cables. "It adapted. You showed it choice. Now it won't control. But it won't disappear." Yellari's voice cut in. "Get back to the control center. Now." Subject 9 stepped closer. "I can still hear it. But it listens now. It watches. It waits. And it understands something new." Kade narrowed his eyes. "What?" She smiled faintly. "Love, pain, freedom. You infected it with you." That was enough. He didn't know whether to feel proud or afraid. Together, they returned to the main deck. The guards stepped aside as they passed. No one stopped them. Everyone stared in silence. The human who had walked into the vault. The girl who had once screamed at the walls. Now they walked like survivors. Yalari stood in the control room, arms crossed. She looked different. Tired, relieved, unsure. Kade stepped up to her. "It's done." "Not yet," she said. "The signal fragments still linger in every system. You carry traces." "So does she." Subject 9 sat beside the control panel, legs swinging freely. "Then we become the firewall," Yalari turned. "What?" Kade nodded. "She's right. We let it see us. Learn from us. Not rule. But reflect. A shadow can't grow without light." Yalari looked at him long and hard. "You're speaking like it changed you." "It did," he said. "But not how you feared." She didn't argue. Later, Kade stood by the launch bay. The stars stretched across the viewing window. He watched them in silence. Subject 9 stood beside him, her eyes wide with wonder. "Do humans miss the sky?" she asked. "All the time," he replied. She smiled. "It's bigger than I imagined." Yalari joined them. She handed Kade a small device. "A biomonitor. If the signal ever grows again, we'll detect it." "And if it does?" he asked. She gave a small smile. "Then we call you." He looked at her, not with anger, not with hate, but with a strange understanding. "You gambled with my life," she nodded, "and you saved more than you know." He turned back to the stars. Subject 9 leaned on his shoulder. "Do I get to see Earth?" Kade glanced at her. "If you don't mind shared seats," she laughed softly. "As long as there's no injections," Kade chuckled. "That's a promise." They stepped onto the ship. The ramp closed behind them. The engines roared to life. The station faded behind them like a scar finally healed. Ahead, a new path stretched across the stars. Not as soldiers, not as weapons, but as something stronger, as survivors who carried a voice and taught it to listen.